Next, the Casa de Bandini and the Cosmopolitan Hotel's history date back to the 1820s and 1860s. Both have been closed to the public for 6 years because of a major multi-million-dollar restoration. But it'll soon be open to the public, and our cameras are the first to get a sneak peek inside. The two-story Casa de Bandini in the Cosmopolitan Hotel is one of the most noticeable buildings in Old Town Historic State Park. Its beauty is stunning. These historic photos offer great detail of what life was like during this period. This was the main plaza in Old Town, the center of commerce, political, and social life. It was there where the more affluent San Diegans lived. Today, the building has undergone a near $7 million 6-year restoration. Despite the facelift, its original beauty still transcends nearly 170 years since it was first built. Bruce Coons of Soho was the historic restoration consultant on the project.
Well, here we're on the main veranda, and you can see the reproduced shutters, but all the trim around the windows is original to the hotel, and it's repainted in its original colors. This plaster is going to be a rose beige color and scored off to look like blocks.
There are still minor decorative touches to work out, but the building is unique. The first floor is adobe with 4-foot walls, built around 1827. The second story is wood-framed, known as the Cosmopolitan Hotel, added 40 years later in 1869 by a man named Alfred Seeley, who would run a number of services from the building. Would this be the main door?
This is the main entrance, the original main entrance, and it has all its what they call faux finishing. It's oak graining and what they call crotch flame mahogany, and it's exactly what we found here, and it showed up in the photographs. We were able to replicate even some of the same patterns from the photographs.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
This is all faux finishing. This is the staircase that was hidden under another 2 inches of concrete and tile.
So this entire staircase was behind something? It was covered?
Most of it, more than 2/3 to right here, is all the lower part is original.
While most of the staircase is original, a portion was reconstructed. Incredibly, nearly 80% of the entire building is original. David Marshall was the project's chief architect.
Yeah, that is really the story of the building, is how much was still here, because really we didn't know when we started this project. We had to kind of uncover the layers and hope what we found was original. And when we started removing some of the stucco that was added on the second floor, we found the original clapboard siding underneath with the original paint on it that had been uncovered or had been concealed for over 50 years.
The stucco covered the original building for decades, hiding important details. But first, who lived in the house and who was Don Juan Bandini?
Bandini was of Italian descent. That's where the name Bandini comes from. He came to San Diego from Peru, another Spanish colony, in the early 1820s. He came up by ship in the San Diego harbor when, just after the Pueblo was founded. And he got one of the choicest lots to build his house, as you can see, right here on the plaza.
Bandini was a rancher. In fact, he owned multiple California ranchos under a Mexican land grant during Mexico's control of the region. The adobe was the family townhouse. It was mostly occupied when the ships came into the harbor during the hide trade.
The hides they called California banknotes, and the shoe industry in New England had to have the leather to make shoes and other things, and so that was the main currency, but they would trade for everything else they needed. China from China, they could custom order from American ships. It'd take a year or two to get here.
Bandini and the other affluent families would prosper for years. This historic photo shows how Old Town was changing from a pueblo into an actual frontier town. There is so much history here, so many details about the past to rediscover, some of which were found during the restoration project.
They found an old cistern over in this area that they had documentation of, but they were able to really find it and get information about it. A lot of different, dolls and watches and spoons and broken pieces of pottery. And so from all different periods. And cisterns are really great for that, because when they dried up, that's what they used to throw their trash. And so you get a lot of items that are well preserved.
A lot of fun items that you find.
That's right.
And you get to see what people used to use or have at that period.
Yeah.
David says historic photos and sometimes drawings are critical to restoring historic structures, like the Casa de Bandini and the Cosmopolitan Hotel. This exceptional historic photo played a key role in recreating what was once lost inside some of the rooms.
This is one of the rare interior photographs of the building, and this, I believe, was probably from the 20s or 30s. This is the room we're in. Actually, the fireplace here is the one that's right behind us.
Oh, yeah.
This is when it was a classroom space.
Oh, the blackboard or the chalkboard here.
Yeah, the original blackboard. It's probably slate. It shows the wainscoting, which has been restored, the original softwood floors. Here's the teacher's desk with the benches for the students.
And so this would be original still?
Yeah, what you see behind us, for the most part, is the original woodwork. Many of the floorboards are intact. A lot of the plaster on the walls is intact. Back
to the tour with Bruce. We head to other parts of the first floor.
Let's go into the bar area, which is the saloon of the building.
Okay. So was this the saloon originally?
We believe it was. It had the swinging doors on the outside. We can see from the photograph, and it's the only room that would work for the saloon. And he advertised having the choicest bar and the choicest liquors in town.
The antique bar may not be assembled just yet, but we get a good idea of what it would look like. This room actually had a different purpose during the Bandini era. It was a dining room. And so what's over in this area?
Well,
these other rooms?
That would have been the back room of the bar. And at that time, they probably would have had a little gambling too. But this is where the bar patrons, this will get plastered and painted in the wallpaper borders and a baseboard.
This last room was used as a kitchen for many years. It will now be a private dining area.
So this will be left more rough state. We'll have the exposed Bandini plaster and exposed Bandini woodwork. It's the only room that we actually found Bandini woodwork, and so that'll be here, and it will have a brown adobe plaster.
Still on the first floor, we head towards the main part of the house facing the main plaza. And this would be going into the main room. It's rather large.
Right, it was the sala during Bandini's period, and it was the main restaurant during the Cosmopolitan Hotel. It's going to be the main restaurant again.
And the furniture, I see some of it already in place. It looks beautiful.
It is, and it's all period furniture once again. This was made between 1840 and 1860.
And there's going to be more furniture throughout?
Yeah, this will all be tables and chairs, you know, the white linens.
It's hard to imagine this beautiful room is made of adobe. David closely examined the walls and tells me adobe structures are typically sound buildings.
We're talking about 3 feet from the inside face of the wall to the outside face of the wall. That's full adobe thickness. And that's why this window recess with kind of the canted sides and the little window seat, it's not done for decoration, it's done because that's how you get a window in a thick wall.
Throughout the restoration, there were more discoveries to be made, what David sometimes calls the special part of the project.
One that was discovered, you can see the lath and plaster was removed, and there's the original brickwork.
I see this. Okay, so this would be the fireplace here.
Yeah, there was a shallow firebox, and there was a mantle that was removed in a hearth.
So this was discovered during the restoration?
Yeah. I don't believe there was any documentation of this until we started. I think there was evidence in the floor that there had been some patching done, but that's one of those things you just make a little hole, and if you find something, you make the hole bigger, and then then you end up finding a whole feature that was never documented.
Wow, I can just imagine the person who discovered that.
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
On the second floor, the 10-room boutique hotel looks similar to what the Cosmopolitan did in the 1870s. Bruce says great detail went into recreating the decorative touches and colors to reflect the period.
On the outside, you can see this is all original siding we're passing, all original trim, and all the original windows. And you see all the square nails. It was pretty neat to find that all intact.
Yeah, those are fun to look at. So this is one of the rooms?
Right, and this is one of the bedrooms that are made up. It's not complete yet, but it's close.
All right, let's take a look. Oh, this is beautiful.
The furniture is 1860s to 1870s, exactly right for the building. It's all antiques. And we found it all around the country and on eBay and everywhere.
Everywhere.
And we still got a lot of furniture coming in. We still got the artwork needs to be hung. The lamps are reproduction of the period.
In the end, Bandini is said to have abandoned the beautiful adobe house, but the Casa would continue to be the center of commerce during the Cosmopolitan Hotel in the 1870s. Alfred Seeley would prosper with a saloon, restaurant, hotel, and stagecoach stop. You can see the painted sign from this historic photo. trips to Los Angeles from San Diego about 3 times a week.
We knew from the start, I mean, we say hotel, but it's only 10 rooms, so it's definitely a boutique hotel, but there's no other place you can get this experience. You're right on the square in Old Town. You're on the second floor of one of the oldest buildings in Old Town, and you're in this restored space now that really looks the way it looked in the 1860s. And so you can't get this experience anywhere else.
The historic Casa de Bandini and Cosmopolitan Hotel will return to being the center of attention on the main plaza. The restaurant is set to open its doors to the public, and the Cosmopolitan Hotel will welcome guests just like in the 1870s, with the original, sophisticated, and elegant feel. How exciting!